Alrighty, let's do this. Good evening, everyone. This is Paul, and welcome back to a live stream. I've kind of been a little bit afraid of these lately because, I don't know, I've seen a couple of other YouTubers do it, and they're like insanely more popular than I am, and also have slightly more natural charisma than I do. Oh, hey, welcome. So, that's actually the quickest I've ever gotten someone to join into my live stream before. Usually I have to talk for at least like 5 minutes to get someone. So today is going to be one of those, you get it, whatever you ask for. So be it Myers-Briggs, I should mention that in a comment. Cool. Oh, well, thanks for subscribing then. Possible subjects. It's giving me a limit on my own chat. Isn't that crazy? Myers-Briggs singing. Catholic stuff. Casual conversation and review discussions. So, tell me, what kind of games do you enjoy? Do you want me to give you a nickname so I don't have to keep repeating that long pseudonym? You can call me Paul, by the way, in case you haven't been watching lately. CJ, all right, will do. Will do. I like that. That's a cool nickname. So, little random trivia. Most of you are wondering what this shirt might be. Well, it actually came from a mission trip, and the slogan itself was based on a homily Pope Francis gave in early 2014, I believe, where he was talking to the youth and encouraging them to go out into the world. And he said, I want you to go and make a mess. And so oh, hello, anti underscore. Neat name. So yeah, we were in the community for a week, and we tried really hard to like just make a splash on the community and serve them in whatever way was within what they gave us. So they might have said, okay, we want you to fix the porch of these people. So I had to learn how to use an electric saw. That was really fun. I got to write down the measurements, and then I got to put on goggles that did not fit my face really well at all. So I'm surprised they didn't kick me out and were like, Paul, you could get wood chips in your eyes. Hilarious. So, anti underscore, have you ever been to my channel before? Yeah, mission trips are my life. I know I mostly talk about video games on this channel, but if I could talk more about Catholic stuff, I would, because I just, man, the stories I have could. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Is that how you were able to find out about me? Hey, Patrick, good to see you again. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I did a collab with the Yellow Kazoo too. I think most people seem to notice that it was mostly Emily, but Yellow Kazoo chimed in a couple of times as well. In fact, she even thought I was joking um, when I was watching one of her live streams. I said, "Man, you were like the best part of my collab." She was like, "Oh, I just had a small role," and I said, "You were the best part," because the part where she said, oh, come on, Paul, you actually have a fan. Because the name of my channel is like a self-degradatory type of humor. So I wanted her to do that, to say, like, you actually have a fan, as in you're not the most unpopular YouTuber in the world. I've actually made quite a few Breath of the Wild videos. Could you please be more specific? Because I did a review, a re-review that also included a review of the VR plus 2 DLC reviews. Yeah, I've covered Breath of the Wild a lot on this channel. So, Patrick, what's been up with you? I haven't heard your comments in a while. Oh, the Catholic review. I'm glad you approve. That game had a pretty lousy story, but from a Catholic perspective, it's really nice. I'm really hoping the next Zelda game will be way more story-driven, because as much as I love exploring in the wilderness, I do love the Zelda twists, like the one in Ocarina of Time. Just in case you haven't played it, I won't say it. But I do really enjoy when Zelda games just, I don't know, throw you for a loop. So, that being said, do any of you guys, how do I word this? What kind of content do you prefer? Do you prefer reviews? Do you prefer Catholic reviews? Do you prefer the Myers-Briggs stuff? Because the Myers-Briggs stuff was originally a joke, but then when it was like my most viewed videos, I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to make more of these. Oh, wow, 3 people watching now. Nice. Wow. Well, thank you, all 3 of you. You get my salute. I try to. Just did an unboxing video. I'm also going to... I actually just got a comment on said boxing video from a YouTuber called the Synthwave Maniac. Hope she's able to join us tonight. That'd be super cool. Yeah, I'm really working on that. I've been doing some IceTJ info dumping episodes that are, kind of sort of my own bio. I'm going to try to do some more voice acting if I get some good lines, because, I've been doing a Once Upon a Time timeline, so I'm actually, writing down what the characters are saying, so I'll probably do some Rumpelstiltskin imitations. I already have a few, but those are all improv, but now I, have the actual script in front of me, so I could, quote word for word some of my favorite lines from the show. As far as Catholic reviews, I've wanted to... Actually, yes. I just recently filmed one. I just forgot to upload it. I just played Another Lost Phone, Laura's Story for the Switch, and it's a hybrid of a review, a Catholic review, and a help service. With me saying, here's what you can do if you are going through depression or an abusive relationship. But yeah, I plan on getting some more collaborations, and I'm also planning on uploading a video from my camera about when I saw Sacred Silence being performed live by Valimar Jensen, who's quite a comedian if you haven't heard her yet. Also, there's a whole playlist about my experiences at NCYC, CHWC, which are the mission trip and a giant Catholic conference, respectively. So there's a lot of stuff for everyone watching. Hello, 4th person that just joined. I must say, I really enjoy smaller scale chats because that way it's easier to respond to every individual comment. Because I really don't like ignoring comments on my page. I think that really bothers me when I'm watching a major YouTuber, say Game Explain, and I try to say, I do believe that you made a mistake in this video, and they just completely ignore it. Or, the fans will talk about it more than the YouTuber, and it's why even have a comment section if you're not even going to respond to any of your fans? I mean, what if your fans end up helping your content? I mean, just casually doing a throwaway line saying, we've heard your comments, and then just shoving some quick images in the screen. Not cool. Just not cool. But then again, they do have thousands of subscribers, so, oh yeah, no problem. Take your time. I don't know. I like having my niche group of hardcore supporters. So, CJ, you're a gaming channel, so what kind of stuff do you have on your channel? I might have to give it a watch after this. I don't know if you're still around, Patrick, but I'd love to see what you have on your channel, too. Oh, yes, that reminds me. I should probably boot up my Lifelight cover. Where is it now? Here we go. There we go. Well, it's there for anyone interested. Welcome back, anti_. Huh. Well, what kind of videos do you do, then? I actually didn't originally intend for this channel to be primarily based on video games. It was originally going to be like exclusively Catholic stuff. Then I decided, ooh, animations, cool. What do you mostly animate? And I originally wanted this channel to be like specifically me talking about my Catholic faith, but there are only so many things you can talk about. Whereas video games are like constantly coming out. The catechism is more or less like, in light of recent events, we have clarified our stance on the abuse scandals and whatnot. Video game cartoons. Well, you guys are officially better than me because I cannot animate to save my life. People say, well, Paul, you're just a word artist instead because you have all your novels and your books and your walkthroughs and your novelization. And excuse me for a minute, I'm going to get a drink. Okay. Nothing like an unsweetened iced tea to not make me tired when I'm doing a live stream. Video games and cartoon related. That sounds really cool. You know what I'd really love? If you've ever played the Zero Escape games, I'd love it if you can animate those, CJ. That'd be amazing. Alrighty. Oh, man. I think the shaving cream I used is getting my allergies because I don't know what it is. I've been feeling fine the rest of the day, and all of a sudden my nose is just so inflamed. Yeah, well, I mean, that game has some provocative imagery, so, you know, I wouldn't want to show all of it on my channel, but I would see it if, like, say it's a good scene with Sigma in it, depending on which game it is. Also, Fi is one of the most relatable video game characters I have ever seen. Thank you for the like, whoever did that. I don't even know what I did to deserve a like, but thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, yeah, that's right. I actually did 2 collabs with Miss Nico Tendo. I did one where she did, I think it was a welcome back video or like a thank you for this many subscribers, and I just randomly Furum Industries, huh? All right, I'll give it a watch. Yeah, sounds great. Oh, that is interesting. Holding comments for review. Didn't know I could do that on a live stream. No worries. I self-advertise myself all the time. Thank you for the second like, whoever did that. So yeah, so as I was saying about Miss Nico Tendo, for those of you that know her, we actually did 2 collabs. The first was when she did her like, I have this many subs and here's a getaway, and then she just like promoted me holding up my special edition cartridge of Fire Emblem Fates and saying, what did I say? Stay epic and game on, something like that. And then the second one, which is of course the one that like exploded my statistics page, was my Super Mario Party collab. I think that's what you were being confused about earlier, CJ, was you said, I recently did a collab with Miss Nico Tendo once. Maybe you're thinking of the one on her channel, not the one on my channel. But yes, she did part of the intro and part of the outro. But Kazoo also helped with the intro, so I really hope you'll check out her channel too. She is the type of YouTuber that goes out of her way to respond to comments, so I really appreciate that. So now that a good chunk of people are here, do you guys want to hear my cover a little bit? I didn't do the entire Lifelight song because there's not much melodic variety, but I covered the basics of it. It's based on games I've reviewed, and I put them in a rhythmic format to make it like come close to how Lifelight would sound. Who, me? I mean, I was in a chorale, but cool. Actually, if you want to see me singing in the tenor section of Mozart's Requiem Mass, it's in my playlist called Cameos with Other YouTubers. Here, I'll put that in the comments so you all can see it. Alrighty, so here we go. Twilight Princess HD Tropical Freeze, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe 999, Virtue's Last Reward, Edge Kid Icarus, Sonic 2 Zero Time Dilemma, Rayman Legends, Captain Toad, Spy Fox Pajama Sam, Bowser's Inside Story, Epic Yarn, Kirby's Dream Collection, Color Bombs, Oxenfree Punch Out, Radiant Dawn, Super Mario Bros., Uprising Gradius, Radiant Dawn, Detective Pikachu, Kirby's Dream, Land Apollo Justice, Triple Deluxe, Dual Destinies, Rocket League Breath of the Wild, The World Ends With You, Rainbow Snake, Just Dance 2019, Forest Escape, Azure Snake, Deltarune Touch Master 2, Planet Robobot, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Undertale, Touch Master, Kirby's Dream Land, Super Mario World, Yoshi, Four Swords, A Link Between Worlds, Azran Legacy, Miracle, Mask Hold Your Fire, Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, Link's Awakening, Chrono Trigger, Yoshi, Topsy Turvy, Woolly World, and that's all I've got so far. So hope you guys liked it. Thank you. Much appreciated. Oh, yeah. Pajama Sam was a great part of my childhood. I really loved. I'd probably have to say Pajama Sam 3 was my favorite. The one that's You Are What You Eat from Your Head to Your Feet. I really hope they bring that to the Wii because that was like the Pentium 2 or Pentium 3 back when that was the biggest thing. And the animation just took a nice. A nice step up, in my opinion, especially since they had like a theme song and I was like dancing and singing along to that in the car. I've always had a thing with video games that have English theme songs that aren't dubbed from Japanese. Although I guess you could say Lifelight wasn't dubbed from Japanese, but I do love the Once Upon a Time musical. And I do plan on doing a one-man solo. Oh, yes. I loved all three of those games as a kid. I still would pick up a Freddy Fish game if it was on. Actually, it is on the Wii now that I think about it. Yeah, I'll have to rent that from Gamefly. In fact, I may actually do that right now that you mention it. Let's see here. Gamefly. Yeah, oh man, I love Freddy Fish. Freddy Fish and Luther. That's probably what inspired why I have so many partner type gaming, partner type cliches in my novels. Freddy Fish. They have another Freddy Fish? Oh, man, no way. But it's not available. Neither of them are available on Gamefly. Oh, man. Okay, I might have to raid Amazon now. You bet. Provided that you're at least 18 years old. When I say what comes to mind about Persona? Yeah, the backyard sports games I really loved were backyard football, backyard baseball, and backyard soccer were really fun games. Even though I am terrible at sports, but they were so entertaining. Oh, yeah. Speaking of Persona, now that Joker is out in Smash Brothers, I had a chance to listen to the Persona songs. Oh, the best character, Kenny Kawaguchi, the wheelchair man. That's where it's at. Oh, and Pablo Sanchez, he was also pretty good too. Pablo Sanchez was like that guy that is like, No, you picked him first back in the day. But yeah, I listened to the yeah, you got it. Yeah, I listened to the Persona songs in Smash Ultimate, and I liked a couple of them, but most of them were just like, this is a little bit too much for me. I'm an orchestra guy. I love symphonies. I love the Mario Odyssey, the Mario Galaxy, the Breath of the Wild songs, Kid Icarus. I loved those pieces. Yeah. Although, fun fact, there were those two twin girls. I think they were, man, it's been so long. Well, anyway, whatever girls were twins, they actually do better when you put them on the same team. And when you pick them, they'll be like, make sure to pick my twin sister too. That's so adorable now that I think. Sydney and Ashley, yes. How do I feel about the Persona series? I've never actually played a game before, but I have played I have played Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and I like the gameplay of it, which I heard was based on Persona. So I like the Persona gameplay, but I've never actually played the series because I'm kind of not that huge a fan of anime. So, I mean, I watched Death Note, but that's about it. And the main reason for that was because it reminded me of Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. You know, the mastermind versus mastermind. Love that concept. Oof. I tried making a video on my own channel a while ago called Phoenix Wright versus Rumpelstiltskin. The thing is, I didn't have a good enough subject matter. At first I just did, arguing about how good my channel was, but that's horribly outdated now that I have a capture card and a better microphone here. Then I tried to do another one where it was like, is Satan a good guy or not? But yet more people watched the serious version than the courtroom version. And I was like, you just can't please everyone, I guess. Not only that, but like the people that would watch the serious version wouldn't respond to what I said in the courtroom drama version. It's like that was the one that was supposed to get the atheist thinking even more than the serious version. Because, Rumpelstiltskin is the dark one, so everything's a manipulation game. So yeah, if you want to do a collab with regards to backyard sports, I'm trying to think what would be the best way to do this. Go to actually, I'll go to your channel and see if you have a public email for like business related purposes. And if you don't, then go to my age restricted live stream. Cool. I'll do that then. All right. Mega Man 0. I have not, but I have played Mega Man X, Mega Man 2, Mega Man 1, and Mega Man 3. Not a huge fan of any of them because they were really hard. What's your question? Underscore and anti underscore. Hey, when I did public speeches, I loved being bombarded with questions. So feel free to just post them. I have a Twitter, but I prefer not to use it unless it's like for inquiring about collabs. Do not have any of the... Well, I guess I technically have a Discord. I'm just terrible at using it. I've done it with the Yellow Kazoo on some of her Smash Brothers Ultimate videos. That was pretty fun. Instagram and Snapchat, I can't do that even if I wanted to. Got one of these phones. Cross the line. Non-secular entertainment. Okay, will do. How do you cross a line in non-secular entertainment? I mean, like, is there such thing as inappropriate Catholic content? If you meant to say where do I cross the line in secular entertainment, there are quite a few boundaries I have on my channel. First of all, gotcha. Okay. So first off, nothing overly sexual. Like, it has to be like there has to be a disclaimer saying like this will have sexual commentary, like my Catholic review of the game Gris for the Nintendo Switch. It has nude art in it, and I use that to like describe the role of femininity. But even then, I never want to go above PG-13, and mostly I don't really like going over PG most of the time, but PG-13 if I have to. I also don't like non-contextual nudity. Like if I was talking about the Garden of Eden, sure, but say if like Bayonetta, just no, I'm not going to review Bayonetta because that's just going too far with the nudity. I don't like profanity in any form on my channel. I might have had the D word in my World Ends With You Final Remix video, but that's like the most I'll do. If there's any other language whatsoever, I will censor it out and I will just not have it. In fact, I actually wrote a walkthrough of all 3 Zero Escape games, and I censored out every swear word, and then I wrote a novelization of Zero Time Dilemma. And I think the biggest swear word I had in there was, I think I said the word screw, which I didn't know was profanity until my mom said, like, back in my day, that meant something totally different than what it means now. And I was like, oops. I would also cross the line if there's pornography. Like, I get that, like, there are times and places where you can't be 100% covered. Like, I mean, my arms are showing right now, for example. And there's also cultural differences. Like, you know, when you're in Africa, to expect them to cover themselves up as much as we are here in the States, that's just insane. Also at the swimming pool, you know, sometimes girls can't always find a swimsuit that fits them, so they have to just go with what they have. As long as it doesn't look like they're wearing underwear and a bra, I'm pretty much just like, okay, well, they got to stay cool somehow, and they might not have a shower or a sink readily available, so they got to do something. Going to church, actually, one of my favorite parts about going to Mass is seeing the crucifix. I mean, obviously, besides the Eucharist, but I love looking up and just thinking, like, wow, someone loved me enough to die for me. And not only that, but like he was willing to be stripped nude and like humiliated, even though he didn't do anything wrong. And so I just thought, like, man, if I fail with the ladies, like I'm already having the victory even before I die. And that's one of the coolest things about being Catholic is like we don't just show the cross, we show the crucifix, because a cross is a piece of wood. There were other criminals next to Jesus who were also crucified. But we're not worshiping them. We're worshiping the man who was crucified that did nothing wrong. That's why we make sure to have Jesus on it. And not only that, but like there were people that were crucified after Jesus' crucifixion that God had deemed evil. So we don't want to praise the people that were crucified for actual sins. We're praising the man who was crucified because of us, because he loved us so much. There's a lot to Catholicism I could talk about. Yeah, tell me about it. I think what I love about being Catholic outside of Mass the most is when people say something along the lines of, oh, you Catholics don't know how to have any fun. And I say, have you seen the dance party videos we do on Tuesday nights on the mission trip? I don't have it uploaded on YouTube because of copyright reasons and also because there's minors dancing in the video, but I do have it up on my Facebook page. It's like 20 minutes long, worth every second of it, because you'll be like, Catholics don't know how to have fun. No thanks. Not only that, but Jesus' very first miracle was turning water into wine. And most of the time when people drink wine, they get kind of tipsy and jokestery. So if he wanted to change water into iced tea, he would have done it, but he didn't. Full disclaimer, this is iced tea. This isn't wine. Although I do know how to play a pretty mean drunk person if I wanted to, but for the sake of potential strikes on my channel, I won't. But let's just say I have in real life. I have imitated someone drunk, and a lot of people have really liked it. So, what do you guys like the most about the Catholic faith? And you can go ahead and repeat what I said if you can't think of anything else. Yeah. Yeah, I think that absolutely makes sense. It's like you know that you're not just going to die and get buried in a hole and turn into ash after you're dead. You know that your body's going to do that, sure, but you have a soul. So, as I like to word it to some of my more easygoing friends or my special needs coworkers, I say, hey, after we die, then we can have a pizza party for all of eternity. Yes. Well, hey, if you look at the letter to Timothy, Paul was very clear in saying, you know what, Timothy, you may be a youth, but don't let anyone talk down on you because of that. I mean, I work with, well, technically I volunteer. I volunteer with Catholic teenagers a lot. And in fact, this coming Tuesday, I'll be volunteering with some middle school Catholic teenagers. And they really bring a lot to the table. Like, they teach me a lot of stuff, a lot. Like, that's actually how I got out of depression, was a group of teenage Catholic girls in an appropriate setting, mind you, came up to me and well, just watch my video, 4 Words That Defeated Depression. It's pinned on my channel if you're a newcomer. If you're not, well, it's in my Catholic videos. You can find it pretty easily. Yes, God does make the best pizza. I'd have to agree with you there, CJ. I definitely had a lot of self-image issues a couple of years back. But once I got out of depression, I started saying, you sure do look good. And even if you have your flaws, then, you still have a way of realizing that there could be a meaning to those flaws. I know what you mean. I remember I used to go to a Catholic school when I was a kid, which that school no longer exists. So there's no way to stalk that. Um, and a lot of those kids that like went to regular school later, I was just like, what the heck, guys? I thought you were Catholics. And that's not to say every single Catholic I encounter at these conferences is 100% mature, but the ones that, like, they get me thinking about them like 10 years later. It's incredible. I know there's this one girl I met. I'm just going to say for now her name is Claire to protect her identity. And long story short, she didn't really say all that much at the time, but it was more so of the way that she conducted herself and like, because I was going through a really fragile time at the time I met her. She was, I think, only 14 at the time. I'm not going to say how old I was because I like to keep my age 18 plus and just leave it at that. But I just remember thinking, wow, dang, this girl is saving my life. Thank you for the third like. And we kept in touch for a while. I don't know what she thinks of me now, but I got to see her again after that at NCYC. And I just remember saying, like, the last words I said to her before we had to say goodbye were, I introduced her to some of my other friends and I said, this is Claire, and she helped change my life. So power to minors. They can be amazing people. It's just a shame that so much gets out of contextualized, and that's why we have Protecting God's Children. Thank you, CJ. Yeah, thanks a lot, Anti. I'm glad you could join. Feel free to comment on my future videos and let me know like what you like, dislike, want more of, stuff like that. Because I really don't get enough feedback on this channel unless it's the atheists telling me I'm a lunatic. So I'd like something a bit more constructive every now and then. So yeah, have a great day or night. whatever time it is where you live. Will do. Will do. Most certainly. Yeah, you as well. So I actually, just in case people ran out of topics, I actually wrote a list for what I thought would be this next live stream. Turned out I didn't really need it because that was in case I was really shy, but I have a list of like little fun facts about my channel that I thought, maybe if people can't think of any questions that they want to ask, I have a couple of behind the scenes things. How's things? Not gonna lie, I was feeling pretty miserable before making this live stream. Not exactly the most socially in tune guy in the world, as I'm sure you know from my Asperger's syndrome. So trying to sort out how confusing some of my friends are. Being a Myers-Briggs ISTJ, we take everything literally. So hearing certain things like you got to look at the bigger picture of Lord of the Rings, I'm just like, the what? And then there's also I don't know how much you know about Myers-Briggs, but my type is known for not being the best, but not being the worst with displaying their emotions. And just knowing that it's lukewarm reminds me of the book of Revelation, where Jesus says, I wish you were either hot or cold, but because you are lukewarm, I spit you out of my mouth. And I'm just thinking, oh, I got to do something better than that. But I try. I really do try. I try to be expressive, and I try not to be one of those stiff, robotic, even though I do fall into that trap. I was at work the other day, and I think one of the students was laughing at me for that. I went up to one of the chefs, and I said, excuse me, chef, but do you require my assistance during the remaining 15 minutes? Yeah, you can see why that elicited a chuckle or two. But yeah, I do tend to try to talk more formally, more willing to obey authority when I'm at work. When I'm around one or two people that I'm comfortable with, I tend to show off more of my humorous side. Oh, and not to mention that on the good news of things, I actually no longer work on Fridays. So that's why I'm able to do this live stream and not be going crazy. Because normally on weekend or weekdays, I'm just like, oh man, no, do I have to? But today I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm getting a nice 3-day weekend. That's nice. What about you? Anything of note on your end of things? Or anyone else watching this for that matter? Remember, try to keep it PG. I don't want to hear any child molestation stories or anything like that. Not that you would, but got to make that disclaimer with as much experience as I have. I see what you did there. That's nice. That's really nice, Patrick. Oh, is that the trailer that you want me to partake in? Gotcha. Well, I'm looking forward to talk about one of my childhood passions. And being the Nintendo nerd, I could always say, well, backyard sports had quite a popularity on the GameCube, Game Boy Advance, and the Wii for a while. They kind of disappeared after the Wii U came along, which is a shame. But yeah, Nintendo systems had backyard sports for a time, and that was amazing. And back then, they were like the most cutting edge graphics because we were so used to everything being hand drawn for Humongous Entertainment. And when it was like, whoa, you're jumping into full 3D, that was mind blowing at the time. I always say at the time. If I ever edit the video of my Eucharistic miracle, that's when I may finally end up revealing my true age, but not yet. I still don't know how to edit existing YouTube videos, so at this point I'm kind of just like, if you know me, I'll show it to you, but if you don't, just take my word for it. I used to have really bad shoulders and back, and now I can like lift my arms all the way up, no problem. I used to only be able to go like that at most. And now I can lift up linen sacks like Santa Claus when I'm at my job, and it doesn't even cause me to lose breath. So God is good. He's very good. Yeah, I've never actually played the GameCube version of any parts, so I'm hoping eventually either I can get a new Wii or something, because I don't have any. Well, I mean, I do have a GameCube. I just haven't figured out how to hook it up to the new VCR, because the way I have my TV set up right now is it can easily switch. It can easily it can easily go back and forth between the Switch, the Wii U, the NES Classic, and the SNES Classic. But anything like below the Wii U, like Wii and backwards, it can't do because they're non-HD systems, and I have an HD TV. Oh, by the way, I'm going to type this just in case, but there was one time where I was doing a live stream and someone like actually was prohibited from commenting too much. But I think it was because they were on a smart device. So let me know if that ever like could be a problem, because then I'll just periodically just say like permission to comment, even though I really don't have a problem with that. Let me just write a random note in here then. How about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu collab in the works? Can't stand that game, spoiler alert, but man, am I going to have fun making a review for it. I already contacted Kazoo, and so hopefully she's going to do some humorous recordings for some of the times when I poke fun of that game. Also, just out of curiosity, oh, I know. Yeah, I got it. Also, have you played the Zero Escape games? Because if you haven't, I could provide you with free walkthroughs for it, as sort of a bonus in collabing with you. And they're all like censored to take out the overabundant violence or overabundant sexual stuff, and they're done in the style of Schmoop's summaries of ancient literature. So you'll get a nice chuckle out of them. And there's a novelization of the third game. Yeah, I'll send them to you probably tonight. I mean, I'm usually up until who knows how late in the night, so that shouldn't be a problem. Just let me double check before I send that email. You are at the very least 18, correct? Because I'm not actually allowed to do projects with minors. The most I can do is like say in this live stream where it's public and everyone can see what I'm doing so that they can like, gotcha, cool. All right then. Yeah, no problem there. Yeah, the reason why everything has to be public is because that way someone can easily call the authorities if something goes wrong. Like if it were, say, in a private chat room or whatchamacallit, a private Twitter or Snapchat, that could lead to, say, inappropriate pictures or inappropriate comments or like a don't tell your parents kind of thing. But in this, it's like your parents have no choice. Like if they want to watch it, they can see it, and I haven't restricted it. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't restrict it because they're obviously over the age of 18. So they could be like, hands up, Paul, you are officially this terrible person. So I'm putting my life on the line to talk to you guys here. which I do every single time I go to a conference too. That's how much I love working with Catholic teenagers is, yes, there's a lot of restrictions we have to go through to like make sure we don't come across as molesters or manipulators, but like those of us that do abide by protection rules, it ends up being totally worth it in the long run because of the feedback we get saying like, hey, thanks for helping me with my faith, or what, I thought you were 17. I have not. Could you please fill me in on that? I just realized if someone watches this live stream later, they're going to be so confused as to what I'm commenting on, because I'm pretty sure they don't have any way of seeing like real-time feed of what comments I'm responding to. Oh well, maybe they'll just watch it for my Lifelight cover and just say, okay, well, whenever it comes, because I haven't made an official video of it yet, because I'm afraid of the sound of my own voice when I sing that. Oh, well, I do belong to a couple of those. I belong to a group called InterVarsity where I live. It's not Catholic, but it is interdenominational, and there are a couple of Catholics in there as well. And one of my really good friends that I met at a Catholic event is one of the leaders. So I really enjoy that. Hoping I can get her to be interviewed on this channel too. That'd be fun. I have a Catholic young adult group that's literally within walking distance of my job. So that's always fun to be like, hey, I'm done working. Now it's time to crash on the couch and wait for everyone to arrive. And I'm also the lead musician there. Ah, cool. Good to know. I mean, I've watched other live streams and I've commented on them, but I usually don't watch live streams from the beginning because they're like an hour long. And I just, hey, welcome, Lunar Octopus. Man, I've been looking forward to seeing your content for quite some time. Hope you've been getting to work on plagiarizing my review, assuming you were the guy that asked for that. I keep forgetting who it was, but it was one of the people that's in this live stream frequently. So you missed me singing Lifelight to the rhythm of games I've reviewed. Well, that's okay. I mean, if you want me to re-sing it, I have no problem with that. Yeah. All right. Have a great day, CJ. All right. So here we go. Here is a cover of Lifelight from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, based on the rhythm of games I have reviewed, all of which you can actually find on this channel if you do the digging. If my voice sounds off, it's because it's starting to crack. I don't know why. Maybe it's that I've been talking for too long. Maybe it's the tea, but here we go. Twilight Princess, AC Tropical Freeze, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe 999, Virtue's Last Reward, Edge Kid Icarus, Sonic 2 Zero Time Dilemma, Rayman Legends, Captain Toad, Spyfox Pajama Sam, Bowser's Inside Story, Epic Yarn, Kirby's Dream Collection, Color Bombs, Oxenfree Punch Out, Radiant Dawn, Super Mario Bros., Uprising Gradius, Radiant Dawn, Detective Pikachu, Kirby's Dream, Land Apollo Justice, Triple Deluxe, Dual Destinies, Rocket League Breath of the Wild, The World Ends With You, Rainbow Snake, Just Dance 2019, Forest Escape, Azure Snake, Deltarune Touchmaster 2, Planet Robobot, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Undertale, Touchmaster, Kirby's Dream Land, Super Mario World, Yoshi for Swords, A Link Between Worlds, Azran Legacy, Miracle, Mask Hold Your Fire, Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, Link's Awakening, Chrono Trigger, Yoshi Topsy Turvy Woolly World. And that's actually only part of the song, but that's all the rhythm that they have. Like, there's really no melodic variety, so I just stopped there. Hope you enjoyed it. And feel free to like copy and paste what you just heard and like pop it on your own channel or something. I don't know how to do that, but if you know how to do it, you officially have my permission. Thank you. Thank you. So, what's been up with you? I haven't heard from you in who knows how long. Also, if you have any requests, I mean, the name of this is first come, first served. So, anything you want me to do. Yeah, I know how that feels. I'm actually going to be quitting my job in a little over a month. So, that'll be an interesting transition in my life. Also, going to be moving. So, I'll have to search for another job after the move. So, I'll have to be searching for like 2 jobs in the span of like 5 months. That'll be weird. Although I will say, I will pay top money if you know how to publish fan fiction. Like, I will pay you like 60 some odd dollars if you're over 18 and like know how to professionally edit and put into book format my fan fiction. Because I'm getting to the point where I'm really, really looking forward to it. But I don't know how to publish fan fiction, so I'm just, once my friend Teresa calls me tonight, hopefully I'll ask her like how to do it. But if someone else could do it before her, because I'm like terrible at publishing, I tried doing that. But to make up for it, that's why I have the name of this channel as it is. You see, I originally just had this channel be just my name. I didn't like that. So I was really a huge fan of, I can't really say her name because she's in a bit of legal trouble right now, but there is a female YouTuber that I really enjoyed back in the day. And no, you can't find her now because she deleted most of her videos. But suffice to say that I was her biggest fan. And I loved how she named herself. So I decided, okay, this blog is a terrible idea, but I like the name of it. So let's just put it on my channel. That's why I now call myself the Catholic Nintendo Nerd, because that was the name of a blog that only has like 1 post and no comment. Oh, okay, 1 person commented. Then I just said, forget this. I'm just going to make that my YouTube channel. And I did. That's why I'm so broad in like what I do. Wix.com, huh? You'll have to tell me more about that. Well, I guess I could look it up right now. Depends on how much money it costs. Let's see. A website builder, huh? Yeah, I don't know if I need that. I mean, just for 1 piece of fanfic? Well, I guess 4, if you want to count my walkthroughs. I'll think about it. DeviantArt. Man, you guys are giving me a workout with what I'm typing out here. DeviantArt.com. Can't even tell what this is from first glance. It looks like it's just a bunch of random images. Nice Breath of the Wild link here. A Zelda that actually looks better than she does in the game. Yeah, I'm not an artist like at all. So, okay. Just started getting into inappropriate territory. So let's shut that off for now. I want it to be nonprofit. That is like the cutoff, because it's a novelization. So if anything, yeah. So I noticed. if anything, I'd like people to like buy the game because of the novel, because the novel is from one character's point of view. Oh, hey, welcome. I was actually just talking about you earlier in the stream, saying that I was really hoping you'd show up because I don't know, I just really like your comments and your feedback a lot. So I might end up doing this for the third time tonight, but I actually, well, like I was saying, I actually just did a cover of Lifelight based on video games I've reviewed. I've now sung it twice because of people jumping in on the stream late. So if you want me to sing it a third time, I can very much do that, and then maybe that'll be a creative way for you to say, "You reviewed that game? Whoa, let me check it out." Or if you like hearing me sing. Now that I think about it, maybe I should pop on some background music for that, if I am going to sing it again, because I'd like to sing it along with the music. Oh my gosh, that's so weird. I put up another link for YouTube, and it's like showing my own video and saying live now. That's so weird. So weird. Nice. Nice. Very nice. All right. Will do. All right. Let me pop up that document again. Okay. So as I said to the previous people that I sung this to, this isn't a full cover of the song because it's the PS5. Ooh, if Nintendo helps out, I'll consider talking about that too. Okay, so here is the lyrics to Lifelight. Like I said, it's not a full cover of the song because it doesn't have that much musical variety, so I covered as much as there is a melody. So, without further ado, Twilight Princess HD Tropical Freeze, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe 999, Virtue's Last Reward, Edge Kit Icarus, Sonic 2 Zero Time Dilemma, Rayman Legends, Captain Toad, Spyfox Pajama Sam, Bowser's Inside Story, Epic Yarn, Kirby's Dream Collection, Color Bombs, Oxenfree Punch Out, Radiant Dawn, Super Mario Bros., Uprising Gradius, Radiant Dawn, Detective Pikachu, Kirby's Dream, Land Apollo Justice, Triple Deluxe, Dual Destinies, Rocket League Breath of the Wild, The World Ends With You, Rainbow Snake, Just Dance 2019, Forest Escape, Azure Snake, Deltarune Touch Master 2, Planet Robobot, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Undertale, Touchmaster, Kirby's Dream Land, Super Mario World, Yoshi for Swords, A Link Between Worlds, Ezra and Legacy, Miracle, Miss Coldra, Fire, Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, Link's Awakening, Chrono Trigger, Yoshi Topsy Turvy, Woolly World, and there we go. Thank you. My secret for how it's not buffering, the Wi-Fi is right next door. Probably about 6 or 8 feet away from where I'm sitting. Thank you. Much appreciated. I'm hoping I can eventually get someone else to sing it, because it depends on how much people like my singing voice. Although I was in a choir, so I can sing. It's just a matter of if I like hearing my own voice, because you know how everyone's own voice sounds different than how everyone else hears it. So, another thing that you slightly missed, Synthwave Maniac, was we were talking about like what kind of content you'd like to see more of. A previous commenter said that they'd like variety on my channel, and ooh, yeah, I love to learn how to do the ukulele. Currently, I play guitar, piano, and harmonica, and have actually done a few guitar songs on this channel, all written by yours truly. So if you want to check them out, look up the playlist songs I've written. Yeah, so we were talking about what we'd like, what the viewers would like to see on this channel. I've been trying to do variety, but you never know. Sometimes someone may come along and say, Paul, you should try this. And I'd be like, ooh, that's a great idea. Oh, yeah, and that collab that I was telling you about earlier, I uploaded it. Yes, I am definitely going to be doing that. I'm going to be collabing with oh my gosh, I already forgot his name. CJ Destroya Gaming. I'm going to be collabing with him to talk about backyard sports because it's actually on a Nintendo system. I've actually done 2 collabs now with Miss Nico Tendo. One was a like 20K subscribers. We're doing a giveaway where I had a little bit at the end where I said game on and held up my Fire Emblem Fate Special Edition cartridge. And then my Super Mario Party review has Emily helps with the intro, as does Kazoo, and then Emily also did the outro. So yes, I am definitely going to be doing as many collabs as I can, assuming I have the right connections. Because if there's one thing I hate, it's payment. So if there's any form of monetization involved, no thanks. Like, probably not going to get, say, Arlo or Nathaniel Bandy to collab with me, unless they're willing to not get the video monetized. Then maybe I'll think about it. Also, if someone is 18 or up, I'll collab with anyone, really. UPS, my dad used to have a job doing that, and I was a paper boy for a couple of years. That was fun. I'm also trying really hard to get more people to do interviews with because let's just say finding people willing to talk about their Myers-Briggs type is easier said than done, especially when we're like hanging out and I say, let's do an interview, but then we end up wanting to do something else. We end up forgetting to do the interview altogether. Although I must say, I love interviewing extroverted types. They're just so much fun because I'm literally just sort of going along for the ride, and it's so much fun. Whereas when I'm interviewing introverts, it's more of like, it literally feels like a job interview, which nothing wrong with that. But there's definitely a certain charm when it's like late at night and I'm just hearing, say, an ENFP going on and on and on about stuff. I love it. Absolutely love it. Mm. So, now that you're here, Synthwave, I thought it would be super cool if I did what I've been planning to do from the beginning. I just didn't because I was struck with a sudden sense of bravery. And that was, I actually was originally entitling this to be fun facts about my channel. So unless you have other suggestions, then that's what I'm going to be doing right now because I feel like you guys would really appreciate the fun facts more than anyone else. So first off, very first video I ever published was The Great Embrace on New Year's Day 2013. That I actually wrote the song. It wasn't actually intended to be a song at first. It was originally just poetry. And I was washing dishes while I wrote it too, just to make it even funnier. I basically had to like remember what was going on in my head and then like quickly get to the computer and write it down. And then I put it on Facebook, and people loved it so much that a professional recorder said, Paul, you should put this into music. And I'm like, me writing music? I don't know a thing about writing music. So I said, why don't you sing it for me? So then she said, okay, sure. But then people were just so persistent. They were like, Paul, this is such a good poem. You've got to put it to music. So I just said, all right, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to try. So I sat down, got my guitar, and I just kept experimenting with chords for 2 hours until I finally was able to memorize the rhythm. And to this day, I have never played that song while looking at the chords because I was able to memorize it so well. So when you saw it on the video, there were no prompts. It was all just on the spot, remembering my own chords. And a lot of people liked it. My personal least favorite video I've ever made on this channel, I'm pretty sure I actually deleted it. It was so bad. Is Love Like a Snowstorm. That's another song I wrote. It was supposed to be sort of a tribute to my grandparents, and then that turned into my love of God, and that also turned into how much I love the season of winter. And I also filmed it in the summertime, so I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm probably just going to hit a dislike on my own video because I hate this so much. So, now on to favorite YouTubers. No offense to you guys. You're still, building up steam and getting your videos to perfection. So I may update it. I may update this, but as of right now, my two favorite male YouTubers are Arlo and the Wii Viewer. Everyone knows that the Wii Viewer is my favorite male YouTuber by now. I'm pretty sure I've said that in nearly every live stream I've ever done. Basically, whenever I come on YouTube and I see that he's done a new review, I literally am just like, okay, I don't care if I'm dead tired. I don't care if I have to work the next morning. We are watching this baby. And I believe I've watched every review he's ever done except 2. And those were because he was reviewing 2 M-rated games that I wasn't entirely approving of. Yeah, I started when he was reviewing Wii U games, and then I loved those so much I went back and I watched his reviews of Wii games. And so, yeah, I would say I'm his biggest fan. Have even quoted him directly in my Yoshi Topsy Turvy review, where I literally took the audio from his video and used it to summarize how I felt about that game, which was, I thought the game was terrible. Arlo, I like him because he's so chill and factual, and he doesn't look like he's doing all that self-promotion and I'm a journalist, so I don't really like journalists. So Arlo does not come across as one. Now, as for the females, my two favorites at the moment, surprise, surprise, the ones I did the collab with are Miss Nico Tendo and the Yellow Kazoo. And they're also very good at always responding to my comments. So if you ever want to bump yourself up on the list, responding to comments is a great way to do that. Also, an honorable mention goes to Daisy Soar, who kind of uses a little bit too much profanity and inappropriate wording for my takes. But apart from that, Daisy Soar makes some of the best unintentional jokes ever. She recently did a video where she was analyzing Fire Emblem Three Houses. And believe it or not, she's one of the rare females on YouTube that actually talks about how much she hates female immodesty. So it's I'm not allowed to talk about immodesty on this channel. So when when a girl decides to do it instead of me, I just say, power to the women for this. Also, I am really, really, really overcritical of myself to the point where I actually made a 30-minute long video just complaining about my channel on my own. And my computer said that it was so long that it wouldn't even let me continue recording. And I never ended up publishing it because my girlfriend at the time thought that I was being just too hard on myself and that I should say more nice things about me. Because I was just roasting my channel, as much as I roast the Nintendo Switch Online service nowadays. It was kind of a nightmare. My only scripted review to this day would be New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Well, okay, the intro of Super Mario Party was slightly scripted. Everything Emily and Kazoo did were also scripted, but there were a few improv things. Oh my gosh. Don't even get me started on online. Unless you watch couple of my latest videos. Ooh, hello, fourth person who's watching this and then just disappeared. What was I saying? Yeah, the intro was scripted, but there were a couple of things they did that were nice improvisations. Like Emily, for example, there was the part where I said, like, okay, I'm going to be off screen, so you're going to pretend like you're saying hello to me. But what I didn't tell her was to say it in a sassy voice and like get close to the screen. So that was nice. And also the part where she lifted up her cat and like shook her head in disgust when she said, he sure is stingy with his money, isn't he? I also didn't tell her to do that. I told her what to say, but I did not tell her to bring the cat. So that was amazing. And then Kazoo went also the extra mile because she wasn't sure what voice to use, like what voice annotation to use for like what script I gave her. So she ended up filming herself like 5 different times and just said, pick the one that you like the most. So I was like, dang, girl, that's a lot of commitment. So yeah, the only review that I did 99%, because I improvised some of that too, was New Super Mario Bros. Wii. That was because I was making fun of it for being too similar to New Super Mario Bros. U. So I wrote down what I said for my New Super Mario Bros. U review, then edited that to make it fit the Wii version, and then improv'd a little on that. So that's probably why most people don't like that review. Because I do better when I just do things off the top of my head. I'm a public speaker, and everyone hates public speakers that go off of their notes too much. Also, in my videos, if it looks like I'm constantly looking at my computer screen for my notes, it's actually just me checking the time. Because I don't like my videos being too long. It's also my way of poking fun of YouTubers that have to have their videos at 10 minutes or more to get paid. I don't get paid, so it doesn't really matter how long my videos are as long as they're likable. So sometimes I'll deliberately say my video is 9 minutes and 59 seconds, so I will not get paid for this. That's a cool fun fact. Okay. That's an interesting contradiction. If I were playing Ace Attorney, I'd love to point my finger at people that actually think that logic works. That's why when I watch reviews, I tend to stick to people that don't get paid for them because they tend to be more honest and like pointing out the pricing. Because a lot of people say like, this product has been provided to me by Nintendo. And I'm like, does that mean your opinions are going to be slightly biased because you got it for free? Then again, I rent games from GameFly a lot, but on the other hand, I pay for the service. So if anything, I am paying to get a game to rent. So it's instead of like having a game as a bonus for my job, it's I am paying with the money from my job to do something that is volunteer. Favorite GameCube game, hands down, would have to be Twilight Princess. Love that so much. You might have to be a bit more specific about that sponsorship thing. Because, oh, you mean like when they say like brought to you by Squarespace, which is a really great website for making your own website. And you can get 10% off if you type in underscore YouTuber's name. Although I do love advertising products because I like giving, a push to the underdog. Yeah, exactly. I think, how do I word this? One of my favorite self-inserts into like product placement had to be when I watched the Wii Viewer, and I always talk about that guy. I always have to make an excuse to talk about the Wii Viewer in my live streams. I don't know why. He did a review on Cosmic Family for the Wii. Not a very appropriate video for this live stream, so I'm going to censor out that part. But the part that was appropriate was he started out by reviewing it as an adult, where he was just like overly critical and saying, this has got to be one of the stupidest games I've ever played. The controls are so simple. And then his son interrupted him and said, Daddy, it's for kids aged 4 to 8. So then he tore up his script, threw it behind him, and he said, I guess I'm going to have to re-review this game. Then he said, hit the music. Oh, someone likes Ace Attorney and Ghost Trick. Nice. I like what you did there. I really like what you did there. So his kid accidentally plays the Wheels on the Bus. So there's sponsorship for kids' music. So then he says, no, the other CD. So then he plays the song that plays in Karate Kid. Or at least I think it is, because I never saw that movie. So I was just like, wow, that's cool. So then he's playing that as he's like doing live action skits of him like trying to use the Wii remote in creative ways, because the only way you could use it in that game was pointing and clicking. So he was trying to like make it more dramatic, holding the Wii remote underhanded. And then it would show him like typing and like trying to drink energy drinks to stay awake, even though he claimed in a behind the scenes interview that he never actually drank any of the stuff. I saw the first episode because Legal Eagle was comparing it to Real Law. And I thought it captured the video game great, but man, Legal Eagle gave it a D- for saying it was very inaccurate to the game. I generally don't like anime, but the one exception is Death Note. Synthwave, you showed up a little bit late, so to recap what I said about Death Note is I said what made me love Death Note so much wasn't the M-rated nature of the show. It was because the clash of masterminds reminds me of Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, which, when it came out, was actually my favorite game for 3 years straight until Breath of the Wild came out. Yeah, I really like Legal Eagle's content, even though he mostly reviews stuff that I don't really care about. So maybe it's because I don't watch much TV. Maybe if he reviewed, say, the episode in Once Upon a Time where Snow White is trying to get acquitted and Rumpelstiltskin decides to be her lawyer. For me, the only anime I can recommend is Death Note, because that's the only one I've watched. I would say, though, it is rated, I don't know how TV works. I think it's like TV 14 or TV MA, like one of the highest age ratings possible. So there's implied nudity, but nothing overt is shown. There's also implied sex. There's a couple of like non-warning pornography that just shows up like that, like before you can even think about it. And of course there's a lot of killing and blood and violence, but it is a very psychologically intense film that's, oh yeah, no problem. The warning about the lack of warning, more like, because when my friend Nick was showing it to me, like I said, it just sort of came up out of nowhere. The implied nudity, though, that is warned about. Like, the guy will, like, literally be like, he'll say, take off your clothes. So then you'll be like, okay, this is my cue to potentially close my eyes. Well, actually, I'm not even sure if it's porn or not. I guess that all depends on your definition. Full disclaimer, I do not endorse porn on this channel. Just saying that when it appears out of nowhere like that, it's like, what do you do? As far as anime like video games, I would have to say Ace Attorney. Hands down, Ace Attorney. Love that game so much, especially the crossover with Professor Layton. Like he works so well with Layton that it actually got me to play more of Layton's games, even though I didn't like any of them as much as Versus. Although I did love Unwound Future's ending. Oh my gosh. Even me, like, I hardly ever cry, but that ending gets me nearly every single time. I used to cry a lot when I was a teenager, but that's being a teenager. Nowadays, you have to really push me to the brink. Yes, I did hear that. That's actually why more guys are more athletic than females. But the reason why I'm going to leave to your imagination for now because of this trying to be mostly PG. But they actually made a joke out of that in the movie, not the movie, the series Anne with an E on Netflix. It's like a modern take on Anne of Green Gables. And there happened to be an episode, it was a coming of age episode. And the girls were noticing that the guys were like, punching stuff and like wrestling with each other. And they were like, why are the guys doing that? And they responded, they have their own problems. And that was a nice way of like not explicitly talking about guy stuff, but yet saying like we're acknowledging that guys have their own problems. Off topic, let's see. Actually, I do sort of script my reviews. Like I have little notes in my head about what I want to say, and generally speaking, I follow those notes. So I guess you could say it's one of the cons of having a really good memory. Yeah, I saw Anne of Green Gables for a while. I remember liking it at the time, and I hope I'll like it again. Wow, I got 4 likes? Sheesh. That's that's a lot for me, so thank you guys. Yeah. Whoa, dang. Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that too, especially because like other shows I watched that my parents like say The Cosby Show and Little House on the Prairie would 6. Where's that coming from? Sheesh. Some invisible person in the comment section is watching this, but it only says 3 people are watching. The ghost. 7. Oh, right. You're the ghost. Cool. Ah, hello, Patrick. Glad to see you're still around. But yeah, like those shows would always focus on the coming of age of the girls, and I'd be like, come on, show what the guys go through. Like, we we have our own stuff. Again, not gonna elaborate, just saying. Not girls aren't the only ones that struggle during that time of coming of age. I could if I wanted to, but I don't. When I'm not filming my YouTube channel, I'm usually pretty open about talking about everything. But I do still try to like have a Catholic filter to a certain degree because like there are definitely some things that Catholics should not be talking about like at all, or like they should talk about it in selective company. So even if say I don't know, I get more explicit in my friends' company, then I would what was I saying? I would still say, like, well, based on the theology of the body and based on the Song of Songs, and get my references. Yeah, yeah, I would have to agree with that, because one thing that I really dislike about the portrayal of men in media, although, um, how do I word this? Although I don't watch too many movies, so there's not really a whole. I'm probably not the best person to talk about this, but just getting it out there. Two of the things I hate the most about portraying men in media are muscles and when the man is portrayed as being stupid and weak. Because if there's one show that I really like that portrays both men and women in a very positive light, it's The Waltons. Because you've got the father who's played by Ralph Waite, and the mother is played by Michael Learned. Um, Michael Learned is admittedly a male's name, but she's a female actress, so they originally cast her as Miss Michael Learned. And the mother is like this super, super strict Baptist, and the father is, I'm not sure what he would be, like sort of a selective atheist. Like he believes in God, but he doesn't believe that you have to go to church. So I guess you could say he's like a sort of his own religion. And the father is like this very down to earth, practical person that usually says, like, um, well, you've got a head on your shoulders, so let's see what you can do. And both of them end up making mistakes. Like, he always complains about, like, what's the point of baptism? All you're doing is getting wet. And the mother's like trying to say, but John, this is your eternal soul you're talking about. But then on the other hand, the mother sometimes has moments where she just gets overly hot-headed, and the father's like, cool down, cool down. Let's think about this logically and rationally. And so therefore the husband wife dynamics of like how much they work together but are also willing to tell the other one off when they're wrong is really beautiful. And The Waltons is also one of the most wholesome TV shows out there. So I highly recommend the three people watching this, you should check it out. I'd have to take your word about that, but yeah, wimpy men have never been cool. I also used to be really afraid of Captain Falcon back in the days of Super Smash Bros. Melee because I just didn't like how buff he was. I was like, I'm pretty sure most men that I encounter in real life have never been that muscular, like ever. I don't. You'd have to like work out every single day and eat like 5 or 6 meals a day just to do that. I mean, oof. Maybe it's just because I'm not the most buff guy in the world except my shoulders, but still, I just don't like it. Yeah, yeah, I'd have to agree with you there, Synthwave. Then again, it says in the manual of one of the Game Boy Advance F-Zero games that Captain Falcon is Catholic. So, explain that one to me. Unless they were trying to make a joke or like make fun of Catholics. Yes. Nice to know there's another Waltons lover. Richard Thomas, he and Will Geer like stole the show. What's cool about Will Geer is that he had naturally long hair for most of the seasons he was in. Admittedly, his was white and mine's brown, but there was an episode where one of his grandkids was saying, like, why is it that everyone's grumpy nowadays? And so he took his hair and he went like that and he said, it's the curse. And that's just imprinted in my mind forever. It's just like, man, even when you're super old, you can still have a sense of humor. Well, Castlevania has a lot of Catholic images. Like, I'm pretty sure you can use crosses and holy water, which are both Catholicism related things. Also, my friend Jesse once said, is it possible to be both a vampire and a Christian? To which I responded, well, Jesus did say, if you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you'll have eternal life. So I said, so I guess, yeah, because vampires drink blood and bite into flesh. Speaking Speaking of Captain Falcon, I don't know if any of you guys noticed, but in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, he actually makes a discernible symbol of the Falcon when he does his Falcon Punch. And they changed his final smash so that instead of him racing on an F-Zero GX course, he's now on an F-Zero X course. How's that for fan service? Oh man, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I love that game so much. Wish I could have made a whole live stream talking about it. But what do you guys think of Smash Ultimate, by the way? Because that's currently my number 2 video game, only outdone by Breath of the Wild. And that's because Deathly Hallows is my favorite book. So I love anything that involves wandering around in the wilderness. Silent Hill. There was a version of that on the Wii that Nintendo Power really liked. I don't know if I ever plan on playing those games. I've never been a huge fan of the first-person genre. Like, I tried playing the Metroid Blast minigame in Nintendo Land, where I was with the Wii Remote and my friend Nick was using the gamepad, and I was abysmally awful. Like, he absolutely clobbered me. I've also never been particularly great at laser tag. The dodging, yes, but the shooting, usually I get, like, at most a 2% or 3% accuracy rating when they give me my stats. Although I have triggered the alarm before, the like, find your opponent's secret color, and you will get bonus points. For someone who's not good at first-person shooters, being able to do that feels really, really good. What doesn't feel good is when you both shoot each other at the same time, and every single time, without fail, it always seems to hit me first. Oh well. Yes, I would, wholeheartedly. I love Nintendo Land. It's better when you have more people, but even as a single-player experience, it has like a Skyward Sword style minigame where you can use the Wii Motion Plus to like simulate swinging the sword or shooting arrows. I personally think the Wii Motion Plus is super accurate in that minigame, but again, that's going to depend on everyone's TV. Because when I originally played Skyward Sword in my previous house, I thought the motion sensing was great. My brothers both hated it. Then I played it again at this house, and I thought the motion sensing was still great, but not nearly as good as it was in the original house because we had a different TV. There's an F-Zero game that's like probably the closest we're going to get to an actual F-Zero anytime soon. There's a Game & Watch game in there. That one's pretty stupid. The Capture the Mario minigame that's based on Mario is great. The Luigi's Mansion minigame is amazing. Reminds me of Pac-Man Versus, which is now on the Switch, by the way. Hello again. And what was another one of my favorite? There's one more that I really, really loved. Yeah, Nintendo Land's overall a worthy investment. The reason I haven't reviewed it yet is because I feel like that's the kind of game that you have to have a collaboration in order to like truly appreciate it. Because if I were to try to review it single player, it's really hard to replicate how much fun it is to like chase each other with some people using Wii remotes and some on the gamepad, especially when I played with some like prepubescent boys that like did not know how to scream yet, and I was just like, oh, when is this day going to be over? A Minesweeper? There was a Minesweeper puzzle in Zero Time Dilemma that took me forever to figure out until I figured out that the top figured that out. It was effortless to figure out the rest of the room. Oh wait, that was Virtue's Last Reward. Sorry, same series. Speaking of top-tier family games, have any of you played Monopoly on a Nintendo system before? Because I heard that that has better online functionality than some of Nintendo's own games. Yeah, someone was complaining about the Nintendo Switch Online, and they said, the fact that I know who it was King K. He was doing a rant on Super Mario Party, and he said, if Monopoly on the Nintendo Switch can have you play the full board game with no mini games online, why can't Super Mario Party do that? To which I kind of agree with him, actually. Monopoly is a hard game. It's really, really hard, especially for someone who epically flunked at arithmetic in school. I'm honestly surprised why I like Fire Emblem as much as I do with how badly I flunked. The best thing I can say about Monopoly is it's one of the most remade board games ever, with how many insane varieties there are of that game. My brother actually made a Monopoly game once. I'm trying to remember what he based it on. I think it was based on me, but I don't remember what he did that was based on me. I think it might have been more based on our youth groups, actually. Broke out of jail. I don't know if that's something to brag about, or I think that's just luck of the dice. And my grandpa would always pronounce it Monopoly, which would drive me insane at the time because I was an intense grammar Nazi. The board game police. Yeah. And then when I was at my grandpa's house, I found the original rules to Monopoly. And when I mean original, I mean like the very first set of rules ever written in their yellowing print and everything, because my grandpa had that game for eons. And it said, the free parking space does nothing. Making this up as I go along. That's how I do most of my videos. Although, truth be told, shots fired. Oh, good reference there. Speaking of Indiana Jones, I actually learned an interesting fun fact. I learned that in the scene where Harrison Ford is face to face with a snake, that actually was a real snake, but the way that they protected him from getting bitten was that it was a glass screen that conveniently was able to be perfectly see-through when they filmed it. So he was on one side of the screen, the snake was on the other. Then they also did a spoof of Indiana Jones called Minnesota Cuke in VeggieTales, and they made it so that he was afraid of worms instead of snakes. Which, now that I think about it, I actually wouldn't have a problem being dumped in worms if someone did a truth or dare. I think I'd be more concerned about the worms than my own self, to be honest. I think I would do that. If someone said, like, would you dump a bucket of worms all over yourself? I'd probably be like, yes, if it doesn't hurt the worms. But snakes, absolutely not. I love how I always get off topic on my live streams. Thank you guys so much. I love it when I can just... Yeah, I touched dead snake skin before at an exhibit. I forget what it was. I think it was like an aquarium or something. I would love to hold a snake. The problem is I don't know when I would get a chance, because where I live, it's sort of a blink and you miss it opportunity to see a snake. I have had my female friends like almost jump into my arms a couple of times because they were so afraid of the snakes. And I was like, that's probably a gardener snake. It's not going to hurt you. Oh yeah, synthwave. You also came late into this too, but I also mentioned earlier in the stream that one of my current plans for my next collab is doing Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. I'm not going to say exactly what I plan on doing, but I already have the collaber. She's informed of her lines, and there's going to be some skits involved. Although I should warn you, if you are a Pokemon fan, prepare for your childhood to be utterly ruined, because I did not grow up with Pokemon, and so Let's Go Pikachu is like my first full foray into the Pokemon world, and I do not have much nice things to say about it, like, at all. So, not this time. This time it's going to be the Yellow Kazoo. Although I haven't ruled out making another collab with her. I just heard that she was heading back to university after her break, and I don't want to like jump the gun on her, but I'll definitely be considering working with her again. I'll tell her that you guys requested it, so I'll tell her you have fans, so you ought to consider this. I've also done a collab with my best friend because he has a YouTube channel called Engineer for God, the number 4. And if you want to check it out, he's been doing like music videos and explanations of the Dante series. He does have a little bit of nude artwork when he talks about Dante, but apart from that, it's a mostly very family-friendly channel that he's still learning the ropes with how to speak on cue and do improv like I do. But I've seen the way he like tries to explain it to me, and even though I'm the type of guy that I'm just like, Dante, you're just too poetic for me, I can see it working really well for people that have more of that mindset or that style of thinking, that abstract, I love all these hidden messages. I'm actually trying to wonder that myself. Like, what on earth did you have to type to make that cat come? Yes, it does. I unfortunately read Dante's Inferno in 2 different forms, and that's in a modern English translation, which was still very hard to read. And then because I was having so much trouble understanding it, then we did a summary on Schmoop, which, nice. Very nice. Could have sworn that was how you make a heart, but oh well, that works too. I did a summary on Schmoop, which like added a lot of like really modern humor. And I loved that so much. That was the basis of my walkthroughs for the Zero Escape series. So if I ever get those published, you can thank Schmoop for it. Because I took a game that's like super duper serious and would like make jokes out of some of the nonsensical logic they have in that series. Sometimes I'll even poke fun of the graphics. Without space images. Oh, how fascinating. Yeah, when I first got my Facebook, I didn't know a thing about emoticons, so I was really thankful for my friend Justin for showing me the ropes. Granted, I didn't get a Facebook until I was 18, so I got on pretty darn late. Wait a minute, are you referencing Undertale by any chance? Because I do love myself some annoying dog in that game. Oh! Another Indiana Jones reference. Unfortunately, I don't really read too many books. Haven't even heard of what you're talking about. Books I have read, though. I really, really love Harry Potter, as you probably know by now, with my Deathly Hallows. The reason I keep looking over here is I keep thinking I'm going to pick up the Deathly Hallows novel and just What? Oh my gosh. So you've been you've been unintentionally humorous that whole time. That's great. Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. I'd love for that game to be ported. I remember my brother and I would always make fun of the fact that he could hardly fall any amount of distance without getting hurt. There was also a scene that took us forever to get through where he had to jump into the water and he'd have to swim as fast as possible before he'd get eaten by a shark. Then there was the fact that you could pick up pretty much anything and use it as a weapon. And at the time, I was really like averse to violence, like even in Super Mario 64. So I was like, oh, I don't want to see you beating up guys because it was really realistic and like they'd have like realistic reactions to where you tried to beat them up, and I didn't like that either. Oh man, yeah, that was a PC legend. Then I tried playing Indiana. Actually, I never played another Indiana Jones game. My brother tried playing the one on the Wii. I think it was called the Staff of Kings, and I think he got as far as level 3 and then just gave up. I think he thought the motion controls were too finicky, and it wasn't nearly as great as. Yeah, that was a big problem too. He Nintendo Power made it out like it was going to be so great, and then it turned out to be nowhere near as awesome as they made it out to be. Though, not gonna lie, I think if people are fanboying or fangirling about Indiana doing Smash Brothers, just point to Simon Belmont. It's probably the closest you're gonna get. I've never even heard of Ranger's Apprentice. Like I said, I know next to nothing about books. I haven't even read the Star Wars books. I did read all 4 Lord of the Rings books, and I was thoroughly miserable pretty much the entire time. There was the chapter that talked about hobbits was cool, but apart from that, I was just so bored out of my mind. And you might be thinking, Paul, you can't say that because you're Catholic, and so was Tolkien. Well, I'm an author, and I have written 4 novels. And if there's one cardinal rule I've learned, it's never let your faith interfere with the writing being good. The Tragedy of Darth Plagueis. Yes, that's a Star Wars Episode 3 reference. Apparently, in the novelization, it actually confirms that Darth Plagueis' apprentice was Emperor Palpatine. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I want to be the first person to type this before anyone says anything. Because this could make Reddit headlines. Yes. Oh my gosh. Can't believe I never made the connection until now. There's just so many Star Wars books that the only ones I would read, if I were to read them at all, would be the novelizations. Because I used to be a huge book nerd, and then I stopped once I became an author. But like, I tried reading the Revenge of the Sith novelization, and I thought it was pretty good. Yes. Yeah, it totally makes sense because remember in episode 1, after Darth Maul was killed, they said, who was killed, the master or the apprentice? So that makes you wonder, like, was Palpatine supposed to be an apprentice? Because you assume that he was the master because there were like scenes with him openly talking to Darth Maul. But I don't think it. Yeah. I don't actually know what that quote is. So if you could send me the link, that'd be great because I'm normally not the kind of guy that takes theories seriously, but I genuinely believe that Jar Jar was supposed to be Darth Plagueis. And I also believe that episode 2 and 3 would have been magnificent if they had kept in Jar Jar as he was. But on the other hand, I appreciate George for respecting the fans because if anyone else were to not do what George did, they would be hated for life. Heck, now that I think about it, I think people despise Rian Johnson's directing even more than they did George's, and that's saying something. Because, man, George did not know how to direct, nor did he know how to screenwrite. But, man, was he one of, if not the best screenwriter of MA16? What horrifying twist. Oh, now you've got me intrigued. Oh, I get it. That's your equivalent of PG-13, isn't it? Because that's what Revenge of the Sith ended up being rated here in the States, because the rest of the movies are rated PG, which means parental guidance, and PG-13 means parental guidance for those that are under the age of 13. I think MA16 plus sounds like it would be a better rating, to be honest, because I think the US rating system is pretty terrible. I've made videos talking against the ESRB in the past, and like the fact that Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies and Bayonetta both have the same rating, and yet they're like nowhere near in league with each other in terms of the adult content is like they should have had completely different ratings. Like the worst thing that happens in Dual Destinies is there's a case at the end that involves a pretty gratuitous amount of blood, and one of the early cases has how do I say this without making this more than PG? There's a girl that was pretending to be a guy in one of the cases, which people would probably take as like transgender-ish. Maybe in the original language it was, but in the American version they made some lame excuse. But I thought the twist was cool, but I could definitely see how people would be like, that's a bit more than a T rating. But yeah, you got to tell me about the horrifying twist. I am really intrigued now. Okay, I'm just going to be talking out loud, guys, so feel free to comment and just ignore me because I'm going to be daydreaming over here. So if Darth Plagueis was Jar Jar, who would Jar Jar have wanted to bring back from the dead? And if that were the case, ooh, what if there was supposed to be a love triangle? Ah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure American audiences wouldn't have thought like that. Yeah, we don't have a 16 and over. We have a 17 and over rating, which is rated R for restricted. And then there's also an X rating, but like I'm pretty sure they don't even make those movies anymore. In fact, I don't even know of a single movie that's rated X that's come out like ever. The only way I even know that they exist is like I used to love reading Leonard Maltin's movie guide, and I think it's probably what inspired me to review games on this channel. Scratch that, it was actually Nintendo Power that did. And he would say, like, this movie is rated X. And I'd be like, and you're reviewing this? But yeah, if Jar Jar was Darth Plagueis, he could stop others from dying, then that could have been how they made the clones. Because Darth Plagueis had powerful Sith magic. Darth Sidious is the Separatist leader. And if the clones were originally part of the Separatist army, oh man. Oh man. Okay, episode 3 just got a whole lot better now. Oh man. Now I just got to see if someone took my idea yet or not, because I'm gonna be fit to be tied if someone else came up with that. It was Jar Jar Binks, Darth Plagueis. Someone else came up with it. Okay. Oh well. I tried. Although I do have a link here that says the Darth Jar Jar is partially true. Except that it's not letting me continue the article because I don't have an ad blocker. Obi-Wan being the chosen one, you gotta write more about that, because now I'm fascinated by that. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not the type of guy that's good at over theorizing things. But I would like to say that I do think I am the very first person in existence, and you guys are the first ones to hear about this too. And that is, I made a theory about the Horcruxes in Harry Potter. And if that were true, J.K. Rowling would have officially been the best author in history. The problem is that I cannot find it on my desktop right now, but I made the ultimate Harry Potter Horcrux theory. And I was like, there is absolutely no way this is a coincidence, because everything just ties together so well. Oh man, I gotta find it somewhere. The ultimate. Okay, it's not here. The ultimate. Okay, no, it's not here either. Oh well, I'll figure it out eventually. How is it confirmed that Anakin is the chosen one? Oh, because of Palpatine. Yeah, I guess I could kind of see that. Although, on the other hand, now that I think about it in more depth, like, what does it even mean to bring balance to the Force? And now that I think about it, like, what even is the chosen one supposed to mean? Like, I don't think the Star Wars movies ever actually had the prophecy, like, actually spelled out. Like, what did it exactly say? Right. Because I forgot about the Clone Wars movie. Totally forgot about that. Huh. Well, they did hint that perhaps they did hint that the Jedi robes and the Jedi manner of what they do could have been based on the Franciscan habits, and the whole like denial of pleasures was like George's way of making fun of the church. I know George was making fun of some things. Like I think the line where Anakin says, "If you're not for me, then you're against me," is directly quoting Jesus in the Gospels. So that might have been a jab against Christianity. So it's possible that George wanted to portray the Jedi as being evil all along. But man, wouldn't it have been cool if Yoda and Jar Jar faced off in episode 2? Man, that would have been great. Oh, that stinks. You know what I'd really like to know about Star Wars is, now that I made that mistake in your previous video, Synthwave, I would be really curious if my accidental guess as to what you were actually trying to say on the Galaxy Fold ends up being true. Because, okay, for those of you that don't know, Synthwave just made a video about a 3-in-1, and she forgot to clarify that the Galaxy Fold is referring to a phone, not Star Wars. But I thought it was referring to Star Wars, so I was like, whoa. So there's a new concept called the Galaxy Fold. And that's how they're going to fix the problems from The Last Jedi, is by quantum physics, which has never been seen before in Star Wars. And maybe light speed is a way of traveling through time if you look at Einstein's theory of relativity. Ooh, if that turns out to be true, then one could argue, well, technically there's no clear evidence that Palpatine was killed in episode 6. Technically, he fell through a portal because apparently, according to LucasArts, they were originally going to make a Darth Maul video game and claimed that he actually survived in Phantom Menace. So then that leaves the question of, is that still considered canon that Darth Maul survived in episode 1? I mean, if Anakin could survive being burned alive in a volcano, then what's to say Darth Maul couldn't have survived being cut in half? Like, pretty sure not even much of a comparison. Oh, man. You know, the funny thing about talking with Star Wars fans is that my knowledge of Star Wars pretty much extends to the episodes. Like, I've never seen Rogue One. I never saw the Solo story, although I did see a full episode about it. And I never saw the Clone Wars, nor did I see the animated TV show. I saw my brother play a couple of the video games, but those are generally considered like extended canon. So if anyone says like, but Paul, there's the Sith Legends, I'm like, the what? Tie the whole saga together. I'm not even sure what that means after all of the episodes, but that would be cool. I mean, it's called The Rise of Skywalker, and J.J. Abrams did say when he was originally directing Force Awakens, he said that he wanted the new trilogy to mirror the old trilogy. And if the titles ended up mirroring, The Force Awakens is like a mirror of The Last Hope, then The Rise of Skywalker would be a mirror of Return of the Jedi, which actually was originally going to be called Revenge of the Sith, but George changed it at the last minute. Fun fact. The only reason I haven't seen Rogue One yet is because I heard there's not a lot of lightsaber fights. And that's the main reason I watch Star Wars, is because I like I like lightsaber fights. I don't necessarily like the after effects, like say the cutting off limbs part, but I do just love the how cool it looks to see the sticks bashing each other, especially like in the later episodes when they're going so fast you can hardly see them. Although, spoiler alert, if I ever get my novels published, there will be fights that are on par with Star Wars movies. Because when I was writing out the final battle in the last book, really hard. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. That's interesting. Huh. Well, I haven't watched any trailers for it. I only know basically two things about it. I know JJ's returning, so it's probably going to be good because I liked Force Awakens. And apparently Mark Hamill might be in it in some capacity, like maybe as a Force ghost or something. I don't know. I don't usually like going into movies knowing a whole lot of information. Usually the only thing I want to know is when it's coming out. Although in the case of the Fantastic Beasts movies, I would like a heads up in case there's a gay scene, because let me tell you, J.K. Rowling is getting into some controversial territory here. J.K. Rowling is notorious for trying really hard to write adult fiction because she was known as the children's writer when Harry Potter started, that she went way overboard in her first post Harry Potter novel, which was I actually totally forgot what it was called now. Oh, The Casual Vacancy. I hated that book with a passion. Couldn't even finish it. She's my favorite author. The previous book she did is my favorite book. That book was so bad that I literally encouraged my friends to burn it. Let's just say she talks too explicit and it's not contextually appropriate. Like, it's just for the sake of saying, I'm an adult writer. I'm capable of saying the word because I can. And because my audience are all adults. That doesn't make a good book. I'm sorry, Rowling, but it doesn't. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen the Fantastic Beasts series, from a Deathly Hallows fanboy, I can officially say the first Fantastic Beasts was amazing. The second one was terrible. Like, so terrible, in fact, that I'm hoping that the next episode is going to be called For the Greater Good, because they need a lot more young Dumbledore if they're going to get anywhere. So just as a heads up, my friend did say she would... Whoa! Really? Hope I didn't just spoil a whole... Well, those are prequel movies, and they're also, like, the scripts were written for the cinema. So, okay, good. Yeah, the scripts for the Fantastic Beasts movies were written for the cinema. Like, they weren't actually based on any of the novels. Like, they occasionally reference them, but for the most part, they're like, J.K. Rowling said, this is the story that I'm writing for the screen. Like, it wasn't intended to be a novel first. Like, the original Harry Potter movies were based on the books, but the Fantastic Beasts movies were based on a book within the Harry Potter universe, which ended up not being based on that book at all, because Rowling eventually did make a paperback book called Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which was actually just an encyclopedia of the magical creatures in the Harry Potter universe. While I'm here, I might as well tell you guys, if I think you should read Harry Potter, despite me being a Catholic. I presume you guys are too. Long story short, Harry Potter's not perfect. It definitely has its moments of adult undertones. There's no explicit sex scenes, although there are some implicit implications. Although, because it's me and I'm like totally clueless, I didn't notice any of them. So you really have to be looking for it to tell. But then again, I also read the books a long time ago. But again, my personality type doesn't usually look for hidden meanings. There's definitely some. They get much more adult and dark the more they go along. Although I would say it's nowhere near as bad as, like, say, well, I've never read Twilight, but from what I've heard, it's nowhere near as bad as that. And it's definitely on the tamer side as far as young adult fiction. But I would say that what makes Harry Potter great, and what especially makes Deathly Hallows great, is that yes, I would absolutely say that. I got into the Harry Potter series late, so I wouldn't be able to say whether I can relate to the early books. But once I did get into Harry Potter, I was roughly ish Harry's age. And so I was like, yeah, I can totally see like the whole feeling like I'm growing with Harry kind of thing. But yeah, like the first Harry Potter book takes place when Harry is 11. And it very clearly feels like a book that was written for 11-year-olds. And by the time you get to Deathly Hallows, Harry's 17. So it feels like a book that was written for 17-year-olds, which is not a bad thing at all, because I was 17 when I first wrote my book, and now it's published. So it can happen. Maybe that's why I like it so much. Actually, I like it because Rowling, she doesn't explicitly mention God like at all in the series, except when it's being used either as a swear word or like oh, thank God you're alive. But she indirectly hints at it in ways that make you hit yourself over the head because you missed it. Like, without trying to spoil anything, let's just say there's one chapter in Deathly Hallows that has 2 explicit Bible verses in the same chapter. And that particular scene takes place behind a church. And the church happens to be singing Christmas carols. And every single book has some representation of Christmas in one form or another. And it's like, why would you celebrate Christmas if you're not celebrating the birth of Christ, meaning Jesus exists in this rhetorical universe? Not to mention there's also, a phoenix is considered a mythical creature in the Harry Potter books, and it behaves like the legend does, plus it has a couple of other extra tidbits because, hey, it's Rowling. And it really feels like it's a representation of Christ. And then Harry himself, while he's obviously not supposed to represent Christ himself, he represents sort of like the everyman, like, wants to be like Jesus type of vibe. And because Harry's not perfect, I think that also adds to his appeal, because people who have criticized the books have said, like, well, Harry gets into trouble so much in the books, but it's like, if you know how Harry was raised and you also know that he's like only 11, he's gonna have some coming of age mistakes, and he's gonna say and do some stupid things. But Harry also does a lot of good things too to counteract it. And not to mention that the final battle in Deathly Hallows is like one of the best finales in like anything I've ever seen. And the fact that like teenagers are represented really, really well in the Harry Potter universe. Like, not even once. I'll skip that part, but like it gives a good representation of like how British school kids that don't have an explicit religious subject are still able to maintain the high ground. The White Company. I'm not sure if I'll ever get around to reading that, because it's very hard for me to read older books just because my brain just isn't used to all that abstract metaphorical stuff. I know. None of my coworkers have my ethnicity, so I'm used to those kinds of jokes all the time, and I love them. Just as a heads up, I might have to head out in like 5 minutes because I know I'm expecting a phone call, but she didn't say exactly when. She just said roughly around this time. Oh, and not to mention hair. Oh, wow, an 8th like. Thank you, whoever did that. Yeah, I'm glad for coming in late. You definitely saw some pretty good highlights, I would say. Well, I guess it would be prudent if I ended it now. That way I won't like have to be like, "Oh, bye guys," and end this super abruptly. So, with that, thank you all for joining me. Patrick, I hope I didn't ignore you too much. Um, Generally speaking, it's easier for me to respond to comments that are in the form of a question as opposed to a statement, but I tried. I really, really tried to include everyone. So I apologize if anyone felt offended or left out. And I'm yes, I'm aware. You said that earlier in the stream. And just want to say that I'm taking into account all the feedback I'm receiving and trying my best to make the channel as close to what you guys want as possible because as I said in one of my earlier videos, it's called YouTube, not MeTube. Although I'm still going to do my own thing on occasion. Just try to appeal to the fans. Anyway, I'll wait a couple of seconds if you guys want to say a proper goodbye, but if this goes beyond 5 minutes, I'm heading out. Oh, might as well say a little fun fact as closing. Fun fact. We'll be attempting to review Cuphead for the Switch. Yeah, sounds great. Have a great day, and I'll be looking forward to your future videos. All right, well, that ends the live stream, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. God bless.